In this week's episode, we talk about Instagram's shameless ripoff of Snapchat, Facebook beating back clickbait in the newsfeed, and Google's huge announcement on mobile. Stay tuned. Let's get right into the headlines, talking about Instagram launching Stories, which is a blatant, shameless, and admitted ripoff of Snapchat Stories. This is going to be very interesting to see how this one plays out. A lot of people are kind of butthurt that Instagram just straight up stole from Snapchat, but I think it was very intelligent on Instagram's part for a couple of reasons. Number one, if you have two of the exact same platforms, apps, you're only going to ultimately use one of them. And I think Instagram thinks that because they have a much bigger, very active, engaged user base and people have followings there, they can initially drive a lot of views on Instagram stories. On top of that, they've got the backing from Facebook and they're just a well-run company, right? They're definitely going to put a dent in Snapchat's business. However, Snapchat is not going anywhere. As good as Facebook and Instagram are in terms of their leadership, Snapchat is ridiculously creative, young, intelligent, hip. I think they have a better pulse on the market and their user base. They are going to stay alive for the time being just because they have a loyal user base. People have followings there, and honestly, Snapchat is a great app. Instagram put together something incredible as well. Very sleek, very clean, very easy to use. Snapchat's a little bit more confusing, but it's killing it right now. People are very happy with the product. It's not going anywhere. On top of that, I truly believe that Snapchat's going to come up with an awesome pivot. They are going to figure out something else. They are a very smart company. They're not going anywhere. But at the end of the day, I don't really know what's going to happen. We're just going to have to watch this play out. But again, it's going to be very, very interesting. Next up, Facebook announces that they are going to stop giving visibility to links that are using clickbait titles in the newsfeed. This is actually pretty big news. It's really great if you're a Facebook user like I am because it's going to clean up a lot of the garbage. There's nothing worse than seeing a post, "This is everything that you need to do to get a six-pack abs, click now," stuff like that. It's just garbage. If you're a publisher that relies on those type of clickbait titles, again, this is good because you're going to have to start doing things like creating better content, creating native content. This is what Facebook wants. Ultimately, it's to deliver a better experience for users on Facebook. If you're a marketer, this is good. The happier people are on Facebook, the longer they're going to stay, the more you can sell stuff the right way there. So this is ultimately good news for marketers. To me, this is the biggest news. Google announced that they're going to start showing AMP results, accelerated mobile pages, across all of the mobile SERPs. This is a really, really big deal. So if you're not familiar, accelerated mobile pages, if you Google something like the news in Miami on your mobile phone, you'll see a carousel up top that has a little lightning bolt. Those are the accelerated mobile pages or AMP results. They load a lot faster and the initial data is showing that users are loving them and publishers are seeing tremendous success. So up until now, this was only available for news type results, but these are going to start rolling out all across the mobile SERPs. I am telling you right now, 6 months from now, the only results that you are going to click on is going to have the little lightning bolt and everyone else is going to react that way too. If you are a webmaster, if you have a blog, if you have a business, if you have a website, start looking into right now to find out how you can get AMP set up on your site. You're going to need a developer, maybe even a consultant, but it's well worth it. And I'm going to read you some data points that are really going to drive home the necessity of this. So AMP pages are 4 times faster, use 10 times less data compared to normal mobile pages. That's huge right there. On average, AMP pages load in less than 1 second. 90% of AMP publishers experience higher click-through rates in the SERPs, and 80% of AMP publisher experience higher ad viewability rates. This is just great news for everyone. It's better for users, and also if you're an intelligent marketer, start implementing these AMP pages right now, no matter what your business is, because in the 6 months to 2 years, whatever, the entire SERPs are just going to be dominated by these. If you're not using these, you're going to get no clicks. So again, start looking into this right now. Last week, a Google rep tweeted that 30x redirects do not lose page rank. This has kind of made a big ripple in the SEO community, especially the nerdier SEOs like myself. But to be honest with you, this doesn't really tell me a whole lot. You know, I don't want to get into the technicalities of 301 and 302 redirects here and the impact on SEO. my opinion on this is, bottom line, this kind of reaffirms that 301 redirects are probably the best way to deal with older content that have some link equity and relevancy equity pointing to that page. Take it, instead of deleting it or 302 redirecting it, just 301 redirect it permanently into a similar page, and 100% of that page rank and link equity will pass through. That to me is how I read this. Again, only data and time and testing will figure out what this really means, but for the meantime, you know, kind of not news, so let's move on. Lastly, Reddit launches a less intrusive, a native ad type called promoted user posts. I think that this is actually very big news because everyone and their mom is farting out content right now. It's incredibly competitive to get eyeballs, and Reddit offers a huge opportunity to do that. They've got a very active user base and a very well-informed user base too that hasn't really been tapped into with the current Reddit ad platform available right now. Personally, I've never used it, but I haven't really heard a lot about it. So I'm really hoping that this is kind of a dark horse in the content promotion, kind of like a Facebook boosted post, Twitter, you know, boosted tweet, stuff like that, to help get some cheap traffic to the content that people are working so hard on and spending so much money on right now. If you are going to do this, just make sure that you are putting out something relevant to who you are promoting it to. Otherwise, Redditors will tear you a new asshole and just ruin you on Reddit in front of a lot of people. So please make sure you're putting some thought into what you're actually promoting. But that's all the headlines that I have for this week. Stay tuned. I'll see you next week.